Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Is your light on?
No, my light's not on.
Yeah, the light's work anymore.
Yeah, that's all right. My light is not on, but my mic is on. Hey, good evening to the downtown Alton area and beyond.
And thanks to Halpin Music Company and to Mr. Mahem of Macias Insurance.
Another week, they're paying for us to be here. Thanks so much for your sponsorship of the show. You know what? A lot of the local musicians appreciate it too. It's not just us.
Yeah.
And the listeners. So.
And the wrestlers too.
And the rest. There are wrestlers in the house, and I'm kind of nervous, man.
I would be if I'm.
I don't know if the judge is going to show up. I don't know if that's his henchman out there.
Judge always shows up.
Here come the judge. Here come the judge. I'm going to do a theme song for him one of these days. Yeah. Well. It's going to be, so we got some, the WPW is in the house, and they're going to be here.
And
TJ Hernandez.
Right, Nashville recording artist, we can call him.
Absolutely. Good to get a chance to meet TJ Hernandez. I've known him for years, but the rest of you that don't know Mr. TJ are going to get a chance to meet him and hear about his country music and what he's got going on. A lot of cool stuff going on with him.
Yep.
We should hit the Thursday night real quick, though.
Yep, the Sea Shanty Sing-Along going on at Morrison's tonight. Open mic at Germania Brew House and the open mic at Raging Cajun tonight.
We got the Hollywood 5 at 7 p.m. down at Fast Eddie's, and Aid the Beast, 9 p.m. at the Stagger Inn again.
DJ Josh at the Back Bar in Edwardsville. Scott and Michelle at I always say that wrong.
LaSalle's.
I think it's LaSalle's.
It could be.
Well, in Granite City, right?
There you go. And
then riding shotgun at Prairie Inn in Dorsey.
All right.
Close to Dorsey. Ride a horsey.
So that's your Thursday evening in the Riverbend area. Plenty of stuff to get out and do. Whether you want an open mic night, you want to go see a band, whatever it is you want to do.
Right on. You want to? This list is pretty extensive. Let's jump into Friday real quick, and then we'll go to TJ, and then we'll get the wrestlers on here and see what happens to you.
I'm scared.
So Friday night,
can I cough on them whenever they come in? Will they keep them away? I got corona.
Watch it.
I don't know if they'll. I'm just saying that I got to do what I can to keep them back.
You can't false advertise now.
Okay. Yeah, crying wolf.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, Friday night.
Comedy Improv, we're saving that for Friday night, not for you, Pigpen. That's going to be at Jacoby's. Comedy Improv night, When We First Met by Paper Slip Theater, 8 to 10, Jacoby's Art Center in Alton.
There you go. Mila Duffey, 8 p.m. at Morrison's Irish Pub on Friday night.
All right. DJ Karaoke at Third Shoot, Hollywood 5 at Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton. And then we got the Backroom Bottle and Barrel. We got some original music going on.
Awesome. It's the Oddsouls and the Sound.
Right.
So there you go. 8 p.m. at the Backroom of the Bottle and Barrel tomorrow evening.
Our guest last week.
Flatliner, 9:30 p.m. at the Pump House. Man, those guys, they were pretty cool guys.
All right. And then bacon. Always go with some bacon at the Back Bar on a Friday night, 9 o'clock in Edwardsville.
Who don't like bacon?
That's right.
Robert Perry Band, 5 to 8 p.m. at the Naked Grove.
No, wait a minute. That's the first one. 5 p.m.
And
that
Naked
word's
Groove.
and.
That is.
A-N-D.
And not at. You're right. And an at. They look so much alike.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we got the Robert Perry Band from 5 to 8 p.m. and, not at, and Naked Groove, 9 p.m. at the Stagger Inn again in Edwardsville.
Yeah. Kasmin Sulton's Utopia, 8 p.m. at the Wildey in Edwardsville on Friday night.
Oh, cool. The Vault, 6 p.m. at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville on Friday evening.
Skylark Brothers, 7 p.m. at the Lakehouse at Buffalo Park in Maryville, and Doc Holliday Band at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton on Friday night at 7 p.m.
We've got Rogers and Neenhouse, 7 p.m. at the Elks Lodge in Granite City.
Steel City. In Granite City. That makes sense. 9:30 at Patrick, Steel City.
There you go. Open mic night at the Hog Pit in Grafton.
Each and every Friday night for the open mic at Hog Pit. Flip the Frog, 8 p.m. at Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill. You ever been to Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill?
I have not been to Red's Tavern in Bunker Hill.
Have you made it to Ramon's El Dorado in Collinsville yet?
I have not, but I'm ready.
You can always see the Trio El Dorados
And that's the cooks when they take a break.
Right.
They come out from
6:30 to 8, they take a break. Because it's Mexican food. You just fold it different once you make it. Right?
You want beans or meat in that?
Right.
Both. All right, flip
But
side.
it's already made,
But it's already made.
Got plenty of
That's
time to play the, what is that thing called, dobro? What's that big giant? What's that big giant one they play? Is that what's that called? Do you know?
I don't know. It sounds right, dobro. No,
the big. You know the big giant one that's bigger than the guy.
Yeah.
We'll call it big giant Mexican guitar. Can we call it that?
Right, with big fat strings that look like fence strings on them. So last but not least, flip side, 7 p.m. at the Corner Keg in Highland, Illinois, and that takes care of the Friday evening for this weekend.
Yeah, now let's get down to the fun stuff.
All right, we're going to introduce you to, if you don't know TJ Hernandez, we're about to introduce you to Mr. TJ Hernandez.
Right.
We taped this, about a week ago? Last week, I think it was. Yep, so.
Yeah, we went down to Nashville, recorded a little record, has a show this Saturday at Baker's and Hale.
There you go.
So let's move along to that segment. Riverbend Talent on some station, and I'm Dennis. And
we're on 107.1.
Okay, and I know our sponsors are Halpin Music and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis.
That's the only thing that's really important.
No matter
that's
what
the most
number you're
important part.
listening to.
No matter who you think you're tuned into or who you may be tuned into.
Unless you're driving, write that down. Halpin Music. Unless you're driving, write that down. Just make sure no one's driving off the road.
So big thanks to Halpin Music and Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance Agent for being our longtime sponsors for the show. And we are going to introduce you to another guest first-time guest. So an introduction, we got TJ Hernandez. Welcome to the show, TJ.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, TJ is a singer-songwriter, and you've been making albums now. You just got back from Nashville, so we're going to talk about that. Since that's a new exciting thing, but let's kind of go back to where it all first started. When did you first get the inkling to pick up a guitar?
Well, so far as playing music goes, my fifth grade teacher was a musician, played in a lot of bands, and he offered guitar lessons out at Lewis and Clark Community College. So with him being my teacher, I had to kind of have my foot in the door in with that, so I started taking lessons from him and did that for about 4 years. And
what was his name?
Bob Lenhart.
Bob Lenhart.
Yeah,
so he kind of got you out the gate.
Yep, he's got the one that takes credit for that. So great guy, real patient, and taught me a whole lot. Really gave me all the basics that I needed. And man, I really wanted to be a lead guitar player real bad when I was a kid, but it wasn't in it for me. But I played for a few years, and then got a little bit older, got to be a teenager, and started living that teenage life and strayed away from it for a little while.
So who was that lead guitar player you looked up to that you wanted to be like?
Well, being a country music guy, I think it'll surprise you. Randy Rhoads.
Oh, okay. Not surprised.
Was lead player for Ozzy Osbourne back in the day.
Yeah.
I used to listen to him religiously.
Rest in peace, Randy.
Yeah, man. He was awesome.
Yeah.
So it's cool, but we find that a lot of the bands around here started with either punk rock or heavy metal and ended up playing country and folk by the time they got older, and that's just how it goes.
I still listen to a lot of it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Most of the bluegrass type bands that we have seem to have started off in punk rock, but it makes sense.
It does.
It makes perfect sense.
It does.
But yeah, that's cool. So Mr. Lenhart got you out the door, gave you them basics, that basic music theory and basic ideas to send you on your way. But then you strayed. You started looking at girls or something.
Oh yeah, just turned into a teenager. Other things became more important: the girls and the friends and sports and just everything that comes with growing up as a teenager. And then it spilled into having a job and everything else. So I stayed away from music for a good while, other than just being a fan and listening and going out and watching other folks. But it was always there.
So from your teenage years all the way up to about 2016, yeah, set it aside?
As far as playing goes, yeah. Music-wise, when I was a real little kid, I loved country music. My dad always had, Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard and all them guys playing in the house, and I loved it when I was a kid. But when I hit those teenage years, I couldn't stand it.
Yeah,
I was listening to I was listening to stuff like Ozzy and AC/DC. And
country wasn't cool anymore.
No, it certainly wasn't for me at the time.
Right.
But there was always a running joke in my house. I'd walk in and Dad would have that music on, and he'd just crank the volume level up real loud, and I'd get that typical teenage, just sigh and give him that look, and he'd always say the same thing. He'd say, "Boy, you'll like that music one day. That's good beer drinking music."
Yeah.
And he was right. About 2010, somewhere around there, I started listening to a guy by the name of Jamie Johnson, and that was the first guy that I had heard in quite some time that reminded me of that old school country that I grew up with. And it just I started going down a rabbit hole from there and listening to other folks. And in 2016, what got me playing again was there was a fellow by the name of Cody Jinks that came out with an album. And he's an independent guy, but has really blown up. He's had a lot of success with a real good grassroots movement. And just absolutely fell in love with his music, and it made me want to pick a guitar up again.
Yeah.
And I started doing some picking, and next thing I know, I had some paper and a pen in my hand, sitting down and trying to give a go at it myself.
That's awesome to have someone inspire you to go back to where you was, and hearing you talk about your dad listening to country and you loving it and then falling away and then coming back. I think that happens to a lot of us, because I know my dad had Johnny Cash and Willie on all the time, and it was great when I was a kid, and just like you said, you get to teenage years and then one day you wake up and go, man, that is really good music. Yeah. Like Johnny Cash can write a song.
Yeah.
Who knew?
No kidding.
Yeah, I went through the same experience.
And you brought up Waylon. He's a hell of a picker. A hell of a picker,
Yeah.
Waylon, man, there's so many good, what they consider legends out there, in the music business. But Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings are two of them to me that are at or near the top of that list. Merle Haggard, just for his ability to express a thought into a song.
Amazing.
And just the quantity of material that he was able to produce in such a short amount of time. I mean, there were points that he was putting out 2 and 3 albums a year.
Yeah. Does anyone need a good song, man? Merle Haggard.
Well, Johnny Cash said Merle Haggard lived the life that all the rest of them were singing about.
Yeah.
He's like, all that stuff we were singing, he actually did it.
Yeah. Well, he actually sat there as an inmate, in the prison and watched Johnny Cash play that show. That's I don't know if I'd say that's cool or not. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. But,
I wouldn't want to be there either. But
it's a cool story to tell anyway.
Yeah.
But all those guys would spin. But Waylon Jennings, like I said, so far as his ability to pick a guitar and sing, outstanding, just absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely.
And he was on the Duke Boys. I mean,
that's a funny
extra props.
That's a pretty funny story too. If you've never heard the story about how that song got written, look it up. That's a good one.
Oh, tell us. Everyone's waiting now.
Well, all right. Well, from the way I understand it, as it's been told to me. So if there's anything infactual in here, don't quote me on it. No. But the way I've always been told that story is that Waylon was right at about the height of his career at that point, and they were going to make that show Dukes of Hazzard. And they wanted somebody to narrate the show and write the theme song. So, obviously, they reached out to Waylon Jennings people, and they worked out a deal, and this was like a year in advance.
Yeah.
They made a deal for him to write the theme song. They were going to bring him out to Hollywood. And that year went by, and they brought him out there, and he was in his penthouse or room or whatever, and his handler woke him up that morning and said, "Hey, Waylon, it's time." He said, "Time for what?" He said, "Well, it's time to go cut this song." He said, "What song are you talking about?" He hadn't done anything on it. And it's the day they're supposed to go to the studio. Yeah. So the way I understand it is he got up out of bed and he went in the bathroom and sat down and he wrote the theme song, The Dukes of Hazzard, on a roll of toilet paper.
Hey, you can,
and,
that's a good place to get your mind going.
Took it in the studio that day and recorded it, and it will forever live in infamy.
Yeah.
Just good old boys. Yeah. Everybody could sing along.
But you know what though? That irritates me because he had nothing.
Yeah.
And just sat down and said, "Okay, I got to write this song."
Yeah. Well, it was on toilet paper. We won't say he actually it out, but it came out pretty quick. We'll just say that it came out.
We don't know what came out, but he was on the toilet.
Right.
The only thing I care is there's a song that came out of that one. So.
What are those Duke boys going to do next? You!
Now, Bo and Luke.
That was the voice in my head as a kid. Like, that's like one of my favorite shows, man. You know, Roscoe P. Coltrane, QQ. All that stuff stuck up here. I shake it, I can't get it out. Anyway, so you sat down and started putting pen to paper. Back to you. Forget Merle Haggard. Let's talk about TJ Hernandez. Merle's okay.
He's all right. Oh, no, Merle's awesome.
Yeah. 2016, you picked up the guitar. You got inspired by Cody Jenkins.
Yeah, Cody Jenks.
Cody Jenks, there you go. And you picked up the guitar, and it wasn't long before you were putting pen to paper.
No, it wasn't really.
And then in 2018, you recorded your first album, so it wasn't long at all to produce, to completely write and produce an album in 2 years is not bad timing there.
Yeah.
So tell us about the first album.
The first album, so when I started playing again, Cody Jenks really led me down a rabbit hole of a lot of artists that I just didn't knew existed. There's so many talented folks out there. That just don't have the money or the backing or the label or the time or a multitude of different things in order to get their name out there. But there's so much talent out there, and when I heard Cody Jenks' music, it led me to just a plethora of all these other guys, and I found this place up in Riverton, Illinois, which is right outside of Springfield, called the Backroom Lounge. Yeah. And they're the guy that runs that place, Jeb Brown, has become like a brother to me. I love that guy. He's helped me tremendously. But I heard of this place because he was bringing in a lot of these independent artists, and he has a really unique ability to get those guys on his radar before anybody else does. And the talent that comes through there is just amazing.
Wow.
So first time I ever went there, I went to listen to a guy that I had found while listening to all this other music by the name of Jonathan Parker. And he's from North Carolina, and I had never met him before, but I love his music. He's extremely, extremely talented. Plays a really good, he's got just a great honky-tonk band. And went up there and caught his show that night, and it led to a pretty good friendship. And we kept in touch pretty good, and when it came time for me and my idea of wanting to put a project together, I reached out to John and asked him if he'd have any interest in producing it for me. And graciously, he accepted, and I ended up going out to Greensboro, North Carolina, where he records at, and he lives out in North Carolina. But I went to a place called Audio Farm Studios out there.
The Audio Farm Studios.
Yeah.
I love the name, man.
Yeah. I wonder why.
I'm going to steal that name and have another radio show called The Audio Farm. That's a great name.
Tuesday mornings from 5 to 7 on KDHS. Right?
You got it. You got it. So that's the Audio Farm Studios out in North Carolina. It's a long way to go to record your first album.
It was. But, I felt really comfortable going there, knowing that John was there, the friendship that we had. I really trust him, and that meant a lot to me. And the musicians that played on that, top notch. One of the guys in particular, I'll never in my life forget it, and I'll always cherish it. He played steel guitar and dobro on that. His name's Clyde Maddox, and at the time he was 82 years old.
Oh wow!
And he's a living legend that nobody knows about. He's played everywhere with everybody, and he's hands down the most well-rounded, talented musician I've ever met in my life. I was standing in the studio the first day we're getting ready to get started, and everybody was there but Clyde. We were just waiting on him. And the engineer, Mike Rose, he said he heard something outside. He said, "Well, Clyde must be here." And in my brain, I know how good he is, but he's 82. So I open the door up, and what I see is, Clyde's got his minivan backed into the studio with the back hatch up, on his hands and knees in the back of this minivan, dragging an amplifier out of the back of this van. I went, "Oh man!" I said, "Clyde, I'll grab that." He just turned around and looked at me and goes, "I got this, boy." But he, super, super nice guy. He sat 5 feet to my right when we played that album, and as a matter of fact, he co-produced and mixed and mastered that album for me, or that EP that I did. And Great experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a far way to go, but I was surrounded by the right folks.
So I guess you went out there with some just raw songs that you had done on acoustic, and then you get with these guys and they kind of rearrange them?
Kind of, yeah.
Is that how it went?
So a lot of them I had more put together than what's on that album, but I had sent Jonathan Parker all the songs through email and just kind of an acoustic track of my own that I had cut. It wasn't really a full-blown demo or anything like that. They were kind of ideas of what you're talking about, along with me playing some rhythm guitar on it. And we dwindled it down into a project that I felt would be a good out-of-the-gate project. Not too much, not too little, and most importantly, fit in my budget. So.
Right. Yeah. So you probably picked the ones that were closer to being complete just because a little easier to get them done, right?
Well, they were all complete.
Okay.
Well, I take that back. There was one song that we did on there that wasn't complete, and I finished the last line of that song the night before we recorded.
Yeah.
But
Merle Haggard action there, kind of. Wait till the last minute. Did you write it on a roll of toilet paper?
That's what I was going to say. Were you on the toilet?
no, I wasn't. I wasn't.
We need to get down to where this stuff comes from. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm getting down to with this conversation is when he said that the guy's 82 dragging an amp out of the back of his minivan. I suddenly saw my future.
Right.
I'm like, if I live to be that old, that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, but
I'll be honest with you. He still goes out. Old Clyde still goes out and plays shows 4 or 5 days a week.
Wow.
you'll be able to hold your amp in your hand
amazing.
by then, though.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
No kidding.
So the name of that first EP is Who I Am.
Yes.
That came out in 2018, and you have copies of it available. Your shows, which you'll be playing at Bakers and Hale, is that March 14th? Did I get that right?
Yes.
March 14th, you're going to be playing at Bakers and Hale. So these TJ Hernandez Who I Am CDs will be available, along with other merch like koozies and stickers. I don't know.
Can you get it online as well?
Yes, it's on all digital platforms,
Right.
iTunes, Spotify, anywhere that people like to stream music from.
Right.
It's out there.
So yeah, it's all over the place.
Yeah, easy to find when you search TJ Hernandez, I guess.
Even on YouTube.
Nice.
There you go.
Good.
So now let's get on to the idea that you got this one behind you, you did it, and you got your first project under your belt, and you immediately start diving into the second project.
No, not really. I'll be very honest with you. I've never had any real illusions that this was I was going to be a star doing this or anything. It just doesn't happen like that. But I did that project for me.
Right.
I just wanted to get it out of my system, and it was fun, and I needed to get it out of me. But at the same token, that stuff gets in your veins.
Yep.
Yep.
And so I recorded that, and I was very, very surprised, and I feel very blessed at the reception that it got. Caught me off guard. It did pretty well.
Nice.
Suddenly you're playing in Riverton all the time.
Right.
Suddenly that's your homestay instead of the place that your heroes are playing at, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
It led me into playing quite a few cool shows. Very dear friend of mine, Jay Hollinger.
Yeah.
I reached out to him prior to recording this project, and I started playing music, and him and I used to, when we were kids, we'd sit around and play guitar together, and I always tease around that I was his first guitar teacher because, back in the day when we had phones that still had lines and everything attached to them, we'd be on the phone together, and he's asking me how to play a certain chord or whatever, but that guy just never quit.
Yeah.
And he has turned into an absolutely incredible guitar player and a very near and dear friend of mine. I love him like a brother. But I snatched a hold of him, and we started going around and playing some music together. And, since that time, him and I have played everywhere from Illinois to Missouri to Iowa to Wisconsin to Indiana. We've traveled some ground together.
Nice.
and played some good shows with some good folks. But this led me into actually becoming friends with a lot of those independent artists that I told you that I discovered in the very beginning, and we talk on a pretty regular basis, and we've actually written some songs together now too. But I didn't have any illusions that this would turn into anything big or anything like that, and quite frankly, I still don't. But it.
But you got to go to Nashville and record an album. That's something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, your second album, you went to the big shot there. I mean, for country music, that's LA's got nothing on Nashville.
I did, and it was quite the experience too.
And you had Bill McDermott.
I did.
As a producer. That's a big name in the industry for producing a second album.
I felt pretty honored that Bill took that project on. He didn't have to do it, and he listened to what I had and said he'd like to do it. So
that is really great. So you just came back.
Yes.
This will be 2 weeks ago when this airs that you did this. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, basically, you finished recording your newest album.
Yes.
Which is called Destination Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And that happened at Omni Sound Studio. That pretty prestigious studio down in Nashville.
Nice.
It's not even one little hole in the wall ones.
Right. Yeah. It's top-notch studio. I was admittedly pretty nervous walking in that place. To walk into or drive into even an area that has always been referred to as "quote-unquote" Music Row. Yeah. I'm thinking, what the heck am I doing here? And but no, top-notch studio. Bill is a really, really good producer. He's got a great ear for things and a unique ability to have that outside perspective and maybe inject a thought into your brain that you didn't otherwise hear. And a good producer is what makes a good album. I mean, you can come up with everything, but you got to have a good producer to make it come together. And I really think this is a great project. I'm pretty proud of it.
And since you just recorded it, you don't get to hear the mastered and mixed tracks before you leave the studio. It's not like they got them ready. But it's only been 2 weeks, but have you got to hear the tracks?
I've heard about 98% of them so far.
Yeah, I heard almost all of them. So you feeling pretty good about it all?
Very much so.
I bet.
I'm actually very surprised at how it's turning out. It's a very strange process, and I don't know that I can adequately explain it to have a thought rolling around in your head of a song and ultimately hear it in a final version like that. Yeah,
not just you recorded it on a little recorder, a series.
But I mean, even just starting from the very beginning of you see something that inspires a thought that you think could be a song,
right?
And then it starts rolling into lyrical content, and then all of a sudden it's mixed and mastered at Omni Sound Studios in Nashville, Tennessee. It's pretty crazy.
Pretty surreal, I bet. Yeah. I would be thinking it's a dream that I was going to wake up any minute. If it was me, I'd be like, nobody recorded my stuff.
Well, I got to thinking. I mean, you leave the studio and you take a stroll around Nashville and you see guys that are looking for the break you just got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them there.
Yeah.
So that's got to be kind of surreal, too, to experience it that way.
And that's why I say, I mean, there are just so many talented individuals out there. And
every waiter and waitress in Nashville is a wannabe singer-songwriter.
Right.
So.
And, I don't fault any of those people for doing that. As a matter of fact, I have a lot of envy for people that are able to just have the drive to just pick up and go and say, I'm going to chase this dream. And, I don't have the ability to do that because of obligations and family and a day job. But there's a part of me that's very envious of those folks that have the ability to do that. But, at the end of the day, it just takes hard work and going out and playing shows as many as you can and getting yourself out there and getting a fan base,
loving the music enough to keep doing it.
Right.
No matter how many times your fingers are bleeding or how many relationships you've ruined.
Most definitely.
The offsets of playing guitar are crazier than what most people think. You can lose a house, a job. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about that we didn't, because we've kind of covered, from you starting in 5th grade all the way up to your new album, but we didn't talk about your neighbor and his dad's band that really inspired you.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. My neighbor, Don Garris, we were really good friends growing up, and his dad was always in music, Fred Garris, and he used to always host their band practice in the basement of their house. And I mean, they'd rock the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he was in several different bands, but probably two of his most well-known were Crossfire and Nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
And Nightlife may still be alive.
Yeah.
It might be like the same people, because there's definitely
so.
a Nightlife band that plays up at the VFW, and we talk about them quite a bit. Probably some of the same guys still going.
Very well could be. I know, old Lyle Batson was in there. I don't recall a lot of the other guys' names.
Right.
I was a kid, but they played a lot of country music. They played a lot of Southern rock, old Leonard Skinner and stuff like that. And I always loved going next door. And me and my buddy, we'd sneak down there and end up crawling into a corner somewhere and listen to them play all night long. And eventually, as I got older, and Fred realized that I could sing and I could play a little bit. Every now and then he'd grab a hold of me and he'd pull me up on stage and play a song with him or something like that. And,
nice.
Yeah, good memories.
Well, that and the name Crossfire, I bet a lot of people go, "Oh, I remember the Crossfire band." Nightlife, I believe they're still going to this day. So there you go.
It's one of those names. It could be any band, but
it could be.
Those guys for sure. I know have been around forever. So.
Yeah, so there you go. And that I'm sure having someone bring you up on stage as a young age kind of put it in you that, wow, that was fun.
Yeah.
I think I could do that again.
Right. Well, it was a good good early experience. But he was like a father figure to me as well. I was at his house every single day.
Yeah.
So I was almost like another child of his.
Another mouth to feed for him.
Right. But even so much so when his wife passed away, I played a song acoustically at her funeral.
That's nice.
So because Fred had already passed at that time, and I knew that he loved music so much.
Yeah.
And it was such an influence on me musically that I felt I owed it to him and the family to do that. So.
A nice tribute to him, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, well, man, it's pretty exciting to have your second album out and, recording at such a prestigious spot like Omni Studios down in Nashville, having a guy like Bill McDermott be the guy flipping the switches. Pretty exciting stuff. We wish you the best of luck with that, but tell us, we know March 14th, you got the Bakers and Hale. You got any other local shows coming up that you know of?
Right now, I've got the one on the 14th. I'm going to be doing a run in May. I've been so focused on this album now that I've been. It's a one-man show here, so I got to take care of everything so far as setting all that up. But I'm going to have about a 5-day run in May.
Nice.
Where I'm going to run through Wisconsin, Indiana, and back into Illinois.
To Riverton.
I will be playing in Riverton.
I bet.
Right. Yeah. When you playing there? Do you know the date? Because I'd be down for a road
I believe it's. I'd have to look at the calendar, but
Okay.
I want to say it's like May 10th,
Okay.
right in that whatever that Saturday is.
Okay.
I think May 10th is a Sunday. I think that's
May 9th. Yeah.
I think it's May 9th.
So let me ask you this: if people want to find out more about where you're playing and find out about you, where do they go? Facebook or
they can get on. I put a lot of the events on Facebook. TJ Hernandez Music.
TJ Hernandez Music.
Correct.
There you go.
That's my music page on there, and then I've also got a website, tjhernandezmusic.com.
Okay.
Boom. That's excellent. We love the guys with the website still because we were just talking with Matt Tall and Matt Van Voorhis about how
Great guys.
people don't want to put the Facebook things up until a day or two before. Well, that's how it makes it hard for us to promote your show.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I try to stay on top of the Facebook events. I'll put them out there.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah.
Quite a bit ahead of time. website is the part I slack on sometimes on the events.
Hey, as long as something's updated and
Right.
keeping folks, because a lot of times, you got to plan for something. We all got families and
Absolutely.
things, and 2 weeks down the line, we can plan to come see TJ Hernandez, but not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you just put it out today that you're playing tomorrow, I don't know. Depends on my schedule.
And then I've got some other stuff I'm working on now that I'm back in the area, and I know I've got this other project under my belt. I can start working on booking some more stuff too.
Yeah.
So there'll be more stuff to come.
Absolutely. Well, we can go to tjhernandezmusic.com or Facebook TJ Hernandez. Keep up with you if people want to get your music, all the Amazon, Spotify, all the iTunes. It's out there at all of the digital places, or show up at Bakers and Hale March 14th. You can pick up his the EP Who I Am.
Yeah.
Don't know exactly when the new CD will be fully released. Got to be mixed and mastered completely and then packaged and all
Right.
that. So.
I'm cutting through all the red tape on that one right there. That's a full-length album. It, too, will be available on all digital platforms. I'm looking hopefully somewhere around a late April, mid-May release on that album. So not too far gone. Yeah. But I've still got a little bit of work to do on it. But it's
get on it. You can get it out there before that run in May and have it with you.
I hope so.
Plus, we're looking forward to see you on the Grammys next year.
Yeah.
So, we got a lot of work to do before then.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
It's not that much work to do to get to
No.
the Grammys.
No.
It's not even that much work. Look, a lot of people don't know it. I've been on the Grammys. I was one of those seat fillers.
No.
When people go to the restroom, I got to sit down for the camera so it looks full. That's fake news. It didn't happen.
Not s'mores, not graham crackers.
Oh,
Grammy Awards.
Oh, the Grammys. Yeah. I thought you were talking about my grandma's house.
Right.
I'm going to Grammy's house.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much to TJ Hernandez for coming in and hanging out with us and letting us know about your music a little bit. And people, again, check him out on Facebook, TJ Hernandez Music, or his website, tjhernandez.com.
Yeah, Bakers and Hale on March 14th, so get out there and check him out before he wins that Grammy, and that way you can say a Grammy guy.
There you go, man. And the food at Bakers and Hale.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
It is awesome.
Right.
Great people, too. Yeah. I thank you guys for having me in. The exposure certainly helps, so I thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in. And you're listening to Riverbend Talent, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company. Thank them for putting us on the air, and thank Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance.
Riverbend Talent
with Dennis Laird and Pig Pen.
Halpin Music Company, Mr. Matt Van Voorhis make this show possible. Thanks to them very much.
Absolutely.
And Halpin's Facebook page says we're open for business, so we're still doing lessons and everything.
There you go. Hey, that TJ Hernandez interview, I want to say he said Cody Jinks was the one who inspired him to do all that. And when he said it, I thought that sounds like a familiar name. I actually dig one of that guy's tunes. He's got a tune called Hippies and Cowboys. So that means Hippies and Cowboys inspired our last guest.
No, that just means you like the song.
He said he was inspired by them, and the Hippies and Cowboys is the guy's big song.
I don't know if he likes that song. Though.
Probably not. Anyway, so here, what do we got? We got a good 20 minutes here, or over 20 minutes, not only to cover our Saturday night, but to cover the WPW. And I think I'm safe. The judge isn't here.
Yeah.
The butcher isn't here.
Right.
I think I'm going to be all right. So I was kind of nervous. But
so far, so good.
I'm a little worried about this guy next to me, Joker. And it's not the Joker, because he doesn't want to get sued.
Yes,
it's just Joker.
Joker.
I'm worried that the Joker might be a henchman sent by the judge, and I'm going to get jumped outside later. But I'm keeping my eye on you.
Well, you deserve it.
I do deserve it. I'm so sorry, Judge. Well, welcome to the show, Joker.
Thank you very much.
Right next to Joker, we have Chris Exodus. Welcome to the show, Chris Exodus.
Thank you.
And Maddie Exodus.
Hi.
And Maddie and Chris together make up the Killer Queen Club. So there you go. So and you guys are pretty new to the WPW, right?
Yes, we are.
Because I have not seen you wrestle yet. So therefore, I know. I see all the shows.
Oh, yeah.
I think This next show will be our 4th show, I think. 3rd or 4th show with WPW.
Yeah, I believe so.
There you go. And word scuttlebutt, word on the street is that the pretty young things don't like you because you look better in pink than them.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely true. For sure. And we've got purple in there as well. And everybody loves us, and they get so mad. And they're like, shut up, stupid. And it's like, you're really upset about us wearing some pink?
Right. So you guys are in East Alton next.
Yeah,
we're excited. That's close.
That is the closest that WPW has come to our station yet. They've been to Jerseyville, Collinsville, a bunch. We've seen them up there, but now you're going to be down at the Rec Center. Is that right? The Rec Center in East Alton, which is at 615 3rd Street down there, and this is going on March 21st. Is that correct, Joker?
Actually, believe it or not, that's my birthday.
Oh.
Wow! See, one of the times we saw it up in Collinsville was the judge's birthday too. Mm. I think they planned it this way. It's like you guys get your party. You're like, hey man, play one on my birthday this year.
And it just so happens it falls on a Saturday.
There you go. Now, Joker, I haven't seen you wrestle either, but you've been with the WPW for a while.
I've been with them for a little while now. A little more than 4 matches. Which, by the way, just to let you know, this is what, your 4th match? Yeah, it could be their last because they're facing me and Rough Cut Rick Ruby, them Southside boys, on Saturday the 21st. It could be their last match in WPW as well.
That's what you think.
Ooh, there's a little smack talk going on. I don't want to get involved because I don't want to get beat up, but I got things I want to say.
I know.
I'm going to say them to you quietly.
It's all about the hair.
It is all about the hair. Quote of the day from Maddie Exodus before we went on the air. It's all about the hair in wrestling. That's hilarious. Now, you and Rough Cut Rick Rubin against Ruby, I'm sorry, against the Killer Queen Club. There's a bit of a weight differential here going on here.
You're calling me fat right on the air?
No, I'm saying there are usually weight classes in wrestling.
From the judge, right?
Oh no!
I would not be.
I was saying you look so slim, and they don't. No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get beat up on the day.
I think it's more as if he looks at Joker, and then he looks at us, and we're pretty small for
We're also
our
really
age.
short.
You mentioned your height earlier, 4'9".
4'9.5".
4'9.5". I'm not going to take the half away from you.
I'll be 21 in August. I get mistaken all the time for a 12-year-old. It's okay.
It makes going on dates very hard.
No.
I get a lot of weird looks. We've been together for 5 years on the 15th, and I can't tell you how many times people walk up and say, your daughter's so cute.
Yeah.
They always think that he is the parent, and I just...
Oh, my gosh.
And sometimes I just sit there while I'm eating. Like, we went to Fazoli's once, and I was just sitting there, and I'm just like... And I look at him, and I'm like, hey, Pops, you know? And he's like, don't do that.
Do you ever order off the kids' meal just to make it?
Well, and there was a time we went to a Chinese buffet, and they were like, does she want a kids menu? And I'm like... And at the time, I was fresh out of being 18 and out of high school, and I'm like, I'm out of high school. I'm in college. They were like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you still want the kids menu? And I was like, you know what? Just give it to me. I'm feeling cheap today. That's fine.
I go to a Chinese buffet and I get the kids menu and the adult menu.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So Joker and Rick Ruby versus Killer Queen Club, the Killer Queen Club, and I wasn't calling anybody obese or oversized or large or anything. I just
don't understand why you keep looking right at me when you're saying those words.
No, I'm so scared right now.
Fear in this man. He was actually trying to
I was trying to apologize for if anything was mistaken the first time. I was just saying
you're here every Thursday night, right?
No, I'm usually not here on Thursday nights. I'm usually
I think maybe next week I'll go pick up Rick Ruby and we'll come up here and see.
Yeah.
Please don't. I don't think he deserves that. He was trying to be nice.
I think Rick Ruby. What is his sidekick's name? What is her name? I forget. I'm sorry.
She hasn't been around in a while. She's been going through some stuff, so I think she's taking a back seat.
Right. So the last time I went and saw them, I had my daughter with me, and what my daughter found out about wrestling is, as an audience member, you can talk a lot of smack, and she loves to, decide who she likes and who she doesn't and talk smack, and she was calling that poor girl Cyndi Lauper all night long. Okay, Cyndi Lauper. And, so I don't think Rick Ruby likes me already, so please don't bring him around here.
I mean, if you can keep from calling me fat the rest of this show, I mean, I might try.
I merely was trying to ask. Let me pose it as a question. Are there normally weight classes within wrestling?
So a long time ago, there was when it was heavyweights, cruiserweights, stuff like that. But I mean, that's all kind of went to the wayside lately. Nowadays, you got 4'9.5" girls going against 6'1", 6'2", depending on what 7-Eleven I'm walking out of. You know what I mean? So I don't really believe that there's weight classes anymore. Now, when it comes to titles, there's weight classes. You know, like I don't believe she should be in a tag team title match for heavyweight tag team titles because, I mean, she weighs like half of my thigh.
Half of your thigh, half of one thigh.
Doesn't matter how much you weigh.
To me, I feel like it doesn't matter how much I weigh. I've been in a cruiserweight division, a wild card division. I mean, I've been in many different divisions, and I'm just breaking the boundaries, showing that just because there's a weight set in place as a rule, I can break that barrier, that boundary, and show that I can still achieve it.
Well, let me say this. Maddie Exodus does break down a lot of boundaries, and it's very good for our sport and our business because when she shows up to wrestling shows, a lot of kids that are in the towns that we're in see that, and it gives them an opportunity to aspire to be something, you know, that, you know, you might not be. You might look at it and be like, I don't think I could ever do that because of my size. And she definitely goes way beyond to show that it doesn't take a big size to do this. You can be my size and do it. And so she's very good at that point of it. Just the problem is her and her husband are going up against two brick houses on the 21st. And so, you know.
I mean, we did it last month. We'll do it again.
And you heard her. She's 3 apples high, 3.5 apples high. Wait a minute. That's wrong. That's a Smurf. I'm sorry.
That nickname is going to follow you forever.
You know, I was called Smurf in middle school, so I've been small my whole entire life.
I would have called you Smurfette. I wouldn't have called you Smurf. I would have called you Smurfette.
Yeah.
3, all those Smurfs, only one Smurfette. Raises a lot of questions, but we won't go there. We won't talk about that right now.
And as much as I'll tell you she breaks down barriers, her husband does pretty well too because he's not the biggest of fellas, and he gets in the ring and does some amazing things that you wouldn't dare to think you're going to see when you go to an independent professional wrestling match, but he goes in and he does his thing, and he's definitely impressive when he's inside the ring.
Thank you.
I'm learning.
Usually that means lots of air for the smaller wrestlers. Lots of air time.
Yeah, so like before I got into professional wrestling, I was an amateur wrestler all the way through middle school, high school, and like so wrestling's always been a passion. And then when I got into pro wrestling, I realized like I'm 5'4" and I'm 135 pounds, and like all these dudes are 6'1", 6'2", upwards of 200 if not 300 pounds. So like I realized I couldn't outstrength
me. That was him.
And I wouldn't be able to pick these guys up. But like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Roddy Piper, and he always said, "I'm not going to be the biggest guy, but I'll always be the loudest."
Okay.
So I live by that. Like when people what I want is like when people come to watch WPW. And I come out, sometimes people are like, oh, this small guy, know. But then when they leave, I want them to know that like I have the grit, the heart, the determination, and I want them to enjoy what they see. And so far, it seems like the WPW audience has really accepted me and my wife, and it's been awesome. It's awesome. The fans are awesome. I love all of them. I really do.
It's kind of cool to be the loudest, but until you get all that wind knocked out of you by a 6'2" big guy, then you can't really be the loudest anymore because you're laying there trying to catch your breath.
This is true.
See, now this is what I've learned tonight about journalism.
Okay.
Don't go direct. Let them say it, because he just said how much bigger he was than them, and it was all fine. But when I said it, it was getting ugly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, because I have to get up and wash myself every day, so I know how big I am. You know what I'm saying?
depending on what 7-Eleven you're
Let's
eating.
just say, Pigpen, your reputation precedes you with the WPW. There's a word out on the street about you, buddy.
I'm so sorry to everybody. Please don't
Just
hurt
to let
me.
you know, I got a mark on my mirror that says I'm actually 6'5", so it kind of takes my body mass down a little bit. Thank you.
It's a number game. I get it.
What other matches you got on the card over there, Pigpen.
So I
Okay.
can tell you a little bit about some matches that are going to go on.
Okay.
You got Playboy versus Rocco in the main event. Those are probably in the St. Louis wrestling area 2 of the absolute top guys. There's just no more than you can say about the fact that Playboy is always seems to be one step ahead of everybody he gets in the ring with, whether it's because of PYT or because he's just that good. Rocco is not from around here, but when he gets here, he definitely has fans in his pocket, and he definitely goes in the ring and shows why he's the champ right now. I mean, hands down, he's probably one of the best that I've seen in a very, very long time come through this area.
Nice. And then we got the tag team after that, right?
Yeah, PYT, the rest of PYT is going to take on the Fam, which is Marcellus Knight and Alex Steele. They were the former tag champions, and they were stripped, which brought this tournament on. And I think that that's going to be a very, very, very good match, because Marcellus Knight and Alex Steele, those guys have been together, they're brothers, so they've been together forever, and they know what everybody's going to do. They know where this one's going to be and that one's going to be. In a mere second, it can change, and they know how to do it without even having to say a word. And PYT is just PYT.
Yeah.
You can love to hate them, and most people do, but at the end of the day, when you're a part of PYT, it's because you're the elite in this business, and they don't have people who are not elite.
But they don't look as good in pink as the Killer Queen Club. So then we got the big tag team match between the Killer Queen Club and the SSB.
Yeah.
And that's the what is that? The Southern?
No, the Southside Boys.
Southside Boys. Sorry, Southside Boys. I have not got to see the Southside Boys.
Roby's from the South Side of Michigan, Detroit, and I'm from the South Side of St. Louis, and we bring a different kind of flavor to the ring. It's 2 very big guys who can move and are agile, and to be quite honest with you, I said it when I was on a podcast a couple weeks ago. There's nobody standing in our way of us collecting the gold at the end of this tournament, and I don't care if it's guys that are 6'8" and can choke slam you, or if it's a girl that's 4'9.5" and decides she wants to jump off her boyfriend or her husband's shoulders and try to drop kick me. I'm just going to catch her and slam her on the ground.
Oh man!
I never thought about that. You put her
on his
shoulder. That's 8 foot.
I didn't think
8 foot.
We tried that once. That didn't end very well.
No,
but she got to look. She could look Scar in the eye for just a second, right?
Sometimes I get scared looking up at him. I look up at him and I'm like, look down.
It's got to be pretty intimidating to be of small stature and face guys of large stature. It's got to be a little bit like, oh no, how do I possibly bring this person down?
I'm pretty much used to it. I mean, I'm around tall people every day, but wrestling wise, I've gotten quite used to it because as being in a cruiserweight division, everybody's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And I was the only female, might I add, and it was really intimidating at first, but sometimes you gotta take a deep breath and be like, I need to do this. I want to achieve this goal, and go out and do it with a smile on your face. And
nice.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're doing double duty that night, right? Because you're facing Kaylee D.
yeah, I am. Friendly competition. We've been friends for a couple years now, so I'm very excited about that one as well.
And
Awesome.
WPW has a great women's division so far.
We do.
We have Miss Hyde and Abby Kaz. I don't get to deal with them very much, but I'm sure Maddie can tell you a lot about them.
Yeah, awesome. I guess the times that I've went, I didn't get to see any of the women's wrestling. There was women involved in the show, but not actually wrestling. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Pretty happening. Now there's one other match we need to talk about that's going down, and that's the U.S. title, right?
Yes, Hollis versus A. Clay versus Cody Wilson. That is going to be a match that everybody wants to. I mean, that has the potential to be the match of the night. It won't be the spot of the night because me slamming these two on the ground is going to be probably the spot that you want to see of the night, but that has the potential to be the match of the night for sure.
Oh, wow. I feel tension in the room.
No, there's no tension. I like both of them. It's sad that they've got to be the ones that I go through to get my final goal, which is the tag team titles in WPW.
So that belt is open right now? No one has the tag team?
Nobody has the tag titles now. It's been, how long has that been open now? What,
4 or 5 months?
3, 4 or 5 months, something like that.
So you guys are dwindling it down to a tournament over several
it's been
shows, or is it
3 shows now?
Yeah. Because they got stripped, I believe, in December.
Yeah.
So
so it's been once a month.
Wow.
They have, a couple matches here, a couple matches there, and it all leads up to, the big thing in Wrestle War.
Okay.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be awesome. And like I said, I mean, the thing that everybody around here needs to know is come to the show and check this out, because you're going to see things that you're not used to seeing on wrestling. And like I said, I can tell you that I'm going to slam both of them on the ground and win so that I can move on to get my title. But what I can tell you is both of them are amazing in the ring, and that's part of the reason why you should come and see WPW, because we have amazing athletes in there, and it ranges from 4'9.5" to 6'7", and it ranges from people who can jump up in the air and drop kick you at a moment's notice, or guys who just grab a hold of you and you wish that you were not in that position.
Right. Oh man.
Well, I think too, like, going into the match, like, I've watched Rick and Joker for a really long time. Like, when I first started wrestling, like, they were around. And, like, everybody knows them. So, like, yeah, like, we're going to get in there, and we're going to have a fight. Like, and I'm going to hit him with everything I have, and I know my wife will do the same. But, like, for me, it's like an honor, to wrestle somebody that, like, when I first started, that I was like, one day, I'll be with them, and here we are.
Nice.
So there's, at least on my end, there's a lot of respect for this man, and I feel like there's mutual respect between us.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a fight, and I know he's going to bring it. I know Rick Ruby's going to bring it, but I think one thing that they might be doing that a lot of people do is they look at us and they're underestimating us just a little bit.
You can stop all that, because I don't ever underestimate anybody when I get in the ring. When I get in the ring, I see you as 6'7" and trying to take me out of what I want to get, and that's just, I don't underestimate anybody.
Yeah.
He says everything so mellow, it's almost chilling. He's not intense, and it's just very believable. Like, I don't want to fight you. You guys are
probably
brave.
a good thing, because when this show's over, we're gonna go. I got a text message from the judge, and he said to talk to you outside about something.
I'm getting in the car and leaving before that.
Oh,
by the way, let me just reiterate something real quick. One of the best reasons why people in East Alton or Alton or anywhere in the St. Louis area should come, like I said, besides the talent, you're looking at a $5 ticket and $10 for VIP.
Right.
And if you come and pay your $10 for the VIP, you not only get a WPW poster that has signatures from pretty much all the wrestlers, but you get your choice of seat, and you get a special match that nobody else gets to see.
Oh, wow.
So
also a little meet and greet with some of the wrestlers.
Meet and greet with some of the wrestlers, the ones who are, prettier and look better, and, like Maddie. She'll have her hair done and she'll be out there, and that's good, because probably after the match she won't be able to talk to anybody.
So
those VIP.
What do you think?
So, oh man, they're gonna wrestle out here. I'm not gonna wrestle out front. They are.
I hope she gets to wrestle Kaylee D before she has to wrestle me, because otherwise Kaylee D's gonna win, because she ain't gonna be able to come out.
So all of this is happening March 21st. The match between the SSB and the Killer Queen Club, the title match, the tag team, and then a Playboy vs. Rocco. That's all March 21st at the East Alton Rec Center. That's at 615 3rd Street in East Alton. $5 at the door gets you in. $10 is that VIP pass. Door's going to open at 6 for the VIP people and 6:30 for everybody else. So pay the extra money. You get in a half an hour early to get a better choice of seat, and you can see what's going to go down between 4'9" Matt and a half Maddie Exodus and her husband Chris Exodus, the Killer Queen Club, and the Joker and Rick Ruby. I'm not going to say large men, but much bigger than the competition.
See how much better that is?
See, yeah, I'm saying it as nicely as I can because I'm going to run out of here when we turn these mics off.
Yeah, that's the tension in the room. You trying to get out of here.
Yeah,
By the
exactly.
way, you also get to see guys like Reed Rain. He is basically, I mean, he's a staple in St. Louis wrestling. He is probably more than likely what every little boy walks in and looks at and sees him as a wrestler and goes, if he's interested in wrestling, that's what he wants to be. Reed Rain's that good. Curtis Payne, they're both with PYT, but they're with PYT because they're the elite in this business.
Yeah.
You know, so you just make sure everybody comes out, because until you come out and see this show, you're gonna miss a very big opportunity to see some of the best athleticism, the best characters, and the best show in this area that you, especially for $5 and $10 tickets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great price, and I know whenever I go and take my daughter, she absolutely loves it. So if you got kids, if you don't got kids, if you're just into wrestling, you should definitely get out March 21st, the East Alton Rec Center, right down there on 3rd Street in East Alton. $5. Get you in the door. $10 for that VIP pass. Well worth every penny to see some great wrestling and just downright good entertainment, because the storylines are fun and all that too. So
right on.
We need to run through the Saturday real quick. We're out of time. Let's run through our Saturday real quick. Go ahead.
Right on. The Mondin Band Quartet, 7:30 p.m. at Shea, Maryland's on Saturday, and the Dirty Devil Dogs, 7 p.m. at the Old Bakery Brewery in Alton. The St. Patrick's Weekend Street Festival scheduled for downtown. The parade and all that's been canceled, but Morrison's Irish Pub will still have the Irish airs from 11 to 3 down there. So that's still going on. The bars are still going to be open. They're just canceling the parade and all that stuff, right?
Yep. Doctors of Vegas, 8 p.m. down at 3rd Shoot on Saturday night.
Naked Soul at 3, and then Generation X at 8 p.m. at Fast Eddie's on Saturday. And then Open Art, Open Mic Night, 7 to 11 at Jacoby's Arts Center on Saturday.
Our guest we just heard from in the first half of the hour, TJ Hernandez, will be at Baker's and Hale at 7 p.m. on Saturday night.
Cricket and the Grilled Avocados doing their St. Patrick's celebration at the Sunset Bar at 8 o'clock in Godfrey.
We got the Mondin Band, 2 to 6 p.m. Ropers Regal Beagle.
Right. See, they're doing double duty on Saturday. Start at Ropers and then end up, and that's a steady. It looks like, for the Mondin Band, Saturdays at Ropers.
Yeah.
Grand Band, 5 o'clock, Champagne Fix, 9:30 at the Pump House in Wood River. Dead Man's Bridge, 9 p.m. at the Refinery Bar in Wood River. And Number 4 Combo, 8 o'clock at the Franchise in Wood River.
All right, down at St. Patty's Day at the Hog Pit in Grafton, Illinois, they're going to have helicopter rides from 1 to 6 p.m. And then Craig Gerds, I'm not sure how to read that one. Gerds, yeah. Craig Gerds at 4 p.m. And that is all happening at the Hog Pit. So get a helicopter ride. There you go. I'm assuming that's not the name of a band.
Yeah, you're right. It's a real helicopter ride.
It's a good name for a band,
I like
though.
Kobe.
It's a good name for a band, Helicopter Rides tonight.
Overhead Dog, 3 to 7 at the Grafton Winery on Main, and On the Rocks, 6 to 7 at the Grafton Winery, the Vineyards on Eckert Road, Eckert Orchard Road.
We got Adam Gaffney, 5 to 8 p.m., and then the Skylark Brothers, 9 p.m. at the Stagger and again in Edwardsville.
Thunderstruck, celebrating 40 years of the album Back in Black, AC/DC tribute, 8 o'clock at the Wildey in Edwardsville on Saturday.
Amazing.
Yeah. And
check them out. You've seen them?
I've seen them a couple times.
Cool.
We got the Melodies at the Back Bar in Edwardsville on Saturday evening.
Yeah.
And then we got Peanut and the Shells, 6 to 9 p.m. at the XO Lounge in Edwardsville. I'm not sure where the XO Lounge is. Going to have to look that one up.
It's a EXO nail bar.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that means.
All right.
All right. Harvest Drive 2 to 5 at the Foundry Public House in Edwardsville. Then Blue Marlin 8 p.m. at the Lakehouse at Buffalo Park in Maryville on Saturday.
We got Double Tap at 8 p.m. at the Cabin at Judy's Creek in Glen Carbon, and then Liquid Dolls 9:30 p.m. at Patrick's in Granite City this Saturday.
Flipside 7 p.m. at the Venice Social Club in Granite City, and Throw the Horns 8 p.m. at Judy's Velvet. That's at the River City Casino in St. Louis.
Nice. Flatliner 6 p.m. at Wild Pickens out in Chesterfield.
Right.
And Hunter Sharp 3 p.m. at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey.
Right. Hashtag 80, 8 p.m. at Rooster's Pub in Staunton. Cody Lee, 6 to 9 at the Camp Station in Staunton. And Roaming Home, 1 to 5 at Sevens in Belleville.
All right, and then we got Shamrock Out Hunger. Okay. Shamrock Out Hunger. That's, you can bring a canned food donation for surrounding food pantries. And Riding Shotgun's going to be playing from 7 to 10 p.m. at the next bar in Warden, Illinois.
That's sponsored by the Hamwell Area JCs. That's all Saturday, and now we'll move into Sunday as we fly through this stuff. Anything Goes, starring Michelle McCausland, 7 to 9 at the Bottle and Barrel in Alton.
Mind and Band, 10 p.m. every Sunday night at Mike's Tin Pen.
Social Remedy, 2 o'clock, and TBD, we love them, 7 p.m. at Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton Sunday.
Well, we got the Vault, 2 to 6 p.m. at the Grafton Winery, and then the Fry Project, 2 p.m. at the Hog Pit down in Grafton on Sunday.
Of course, the open mic every Sunday night and Wednesday at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville. The Skylark Brothers Duo, 2 p.m. at the EXO Lounge in Edwardsville.
Got Scott Marlin, 5 p.m. at the Back Bar in Edwardsville. And then Strangers, 3 p.m. at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville.
Matt Powell, 2 p.m. at the Cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. Scott and Michelle, 2 p.m. at Patty McDee's in Granite City. Riding Shotgun, 3 p.m. at Hoodats in Collinsville.
And then Rogers and Neen House, 4 to 8 p.m. at Cutter's in Belleville, Illinois.
That's all Sunday, and they always do the open mic every Monday night at the Bottle and Barrel in Alton. Deluxe Duo, usually at Fast Eddie's on Monday nights, and this week at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey on Monday is Molly Lovett, 6 o'clock.
There you go. That takes care of your Saturday through Monday in the Riverbend area. We're 5 minutes over, so Clark Howard's just getting upset with us right now. I'm giving good advice, and they won't let me on the radio.
That's okay. We got the WPW wrestlers with us. We can take him.
I'm not worried about it. I could take Clark Howard myself. Yeah. I would wrestle him. He would probably beat me.
No, you could. I think you could take him.
So anyway, hey, big thanks to TJ Hernandez, who was the guest in the first part of the show. And we have the Joker. Not the Joker, just Joker. I'm sorry. I'm going to get you sued.
That's all right, buddy.
It says here, just Joker. So we've got Joker, Chris Exodus, and Maddie Exodus, the Queen Killer Club from WPW, sitting in with us on the second half of the show. And man, you can go down and see them wrestle each other.
Yeah, I want to see that.
March 21st, East Alton Rec Center. $5 to get in that door, $10 for the VIP entrance.
So like you said, the Joker said you'll see things you've never seen at WPW. And how many times have you seen a man and wife take on a couple of guys? I'm just saying. There's one right there.
Yeah.
That's a long kind of thing we're talking about, buddy.
Yeah.
Actually, I got a few videos at home that show exactly. No, I'm sorry.
I left you wide open, and he should have jumped on. He did. He beat you to it.
He did. He took the good joke there. That's why they call him Joker.
No, for real though. I mean, you know, I'm excited to see these. I think they're going to win.
You think who's going to win?
I think they got something planned. I think they got something planned you're not expecting.
Are you going to be there on the 21st?
I might be there just to witness this.
I tell you what, after I'm done beating them up, I can drag you in the ring.
Okay.
Why are you getting mad at this man? He wants to be a Killer Queen Club fan, and you're upset about it?
Listen, go get your pink shirt and put it on and follow him out to the ring and jump around with your pom-poms and all that. But once
I think you're getting a little upset that they're assuming and that they have their own predictions about how our match is going to go. And hey, we might break boundaries. We might just win. You never know.
You might break boundaries, but you might break bones too.
Right, man. Which is why I got to get behind him.
Luckily, I have no bones. I'm all cartilage. So
keep talking about breaking boundaries. Tell me this doesn't sound like a great headline. Intergender tag team become the first tag team champions at WPW
Yeah.
with a woman in them.
I got a raging cartilager over that. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on here. I think we should call this show over.
Okay, well, you got to tell everybody who's going to be on next week and what they should do.
Next week is the POW Junior Band, who will be at the Vernal Jam. So we'll talk about that, and we'll introduce you to a band called POW Junior 72. That's actually the name of the band, POW Junior 72. And between now and then, you should get your tickets to see the WPW.
Right.
You should go to Baker's and Hale and see TJ Hernandez.
Yeah.
And you should all get out and support local music and art.
All right, and we'll talk to you next week.